What's up, everybody? Jim Laird joining you live from Diriomo, Nicaragua. Had a wonderful day today while I get Instagram rolling here. Comment's not wanting to work. There we go. Go live. Excellent. Had a really good day today. The weather here is just absolutely phenomenal. I moved into a different house, which has been a game changer here. We'll move the camera. Hopefully, I don't wreck it, but I have much more space on my patio. It goes around the corner. I've got the pool right in front of my house there, but it's much more spacious. The inside is much better ventilated. My sleep is already improved dramatically just by changing to a house that has more ventilation, more air. The other house I was living in was it was causing some problems with me because it was so stuffy. This has definitely made a humongous difference. So I'm feeling much better. I'm sleeping much better. Had a fun day today. I just bought a new motorcycle. I upgraded, got something a little more powerful. I'm glad I learned on like a little 150cc bike. Really taught me. I'm used to driving big 1000cc motorcycles, Hayabusas, GSXR 1000s, VMAXs. I mean, all those bikes are great, but the problem is like you can be a really crappy rider, and the bike makes up for a lot of. Sorry, I'm going on a little rant here before I get into the topic, but because the bike has so much power, you can make a lot of mistakes. When you're driving a bike that's extremely underpowered, you really have to learn how to work the gears, and you really have to learn how to get everything out of the bike. And I'm really glad that I did that. So now I'm at a 250, which is the power difference is immense, and it's got a 6th gear, so it's really really good. I'm having to baby it. It's got under 1,000 kilometers on it. This morning I took it down towards Rivas and cut across. I was going towards a beach that I've been wanting to go check out. I didn't go all the way to the beach. I came back, but I got to spin some wrenches. I love spinning wrenches. My first car was a 67 Chevelle. So I did all my own maintenance on that thing. I had Camaros, I had IROCs, I had a mullet once, but I've owned IROCs. I've owned Corvette convertibles, like older Corvette convertibles. So I'm a huge gearhead. So I actually really like spinning wrenches. And the cool thing about these bikes is I can do that. Now, this is a frame slider, and unfortunately, they don't make them well here. And these are great. You really honestly need to have these. These go on the frame. The bike falls over. It keeps the bike from washing out on the sides. It's even more important with like a sport bike. But when you're driving, like I'm going to Managua tomorrow, it's just inevitable you're going to dump the bike. And when you're on some of these back roads, some of the hills I have to go up, and some of the roads in the rainy season, the bike's going to fall over. And so if you have these, it keeps you from smashing your brake lever off and your clutch lever and things like that. So my mechanic, or my welder, who's my barber, extremely talented. I bought 2 of these, and we cut one of these off and welded it. So it's much more secure. So if you're in Nicaragua, it's very important to have a fabricator. So that being said, let's get into the topic today. Obviously, you probably just don't want to listen to me talk about cars and motorcycles, but maybe somebody does. I don't know. 3 keys to aging gracefully and looking fabulous while doing it. It's probably going to be 4, but for some reason, when I put the title into the magic search engine thing, it said that the 3 essential keys would show up better in search. So I listened to it. I personally think I have the ability to speak on this maybe more than some people, because I actually have like dozens of clients that I worked with over a 20-year period that I've seen what works for them and what doesn't. And the vast majority of them were not on hormone replacement. I'd say 5 or 10% of them were on some sort of hormone replacement. The consistency was the most important thing. I will say the most important thing to age gracefully, in my opinion, and of course I beat you over the head with this, is getting your circadian rhythm in order. getting out in natural light. Now, I've covered this on my year-long, being here a year in Nicaragua. I don't think everybody needs to move the equator. That being said, older people that have rheumatoid arthritis and things like that, they do better as they move south. That's why people move to Florida. They feel better. The rheumatoid arthritis feels better. The sun and the warmth helps with that. But I don't think everybody needs to do that. There's things like sauna, infrared sauna, and things like that you can do. But most people today are staring at their phone late at night. You got to get that done. You got to get outside a couple times a day. You fix your sleep. That's going to help with inflammation. It's going to give you a decent hormone profile. It's going to allow you to actually recover from your training. Most people don't realize that our modern world just disrupts sleep. And when you are sleep deprived, you turn into a human vacuum cleaner. You start eating Doritos, and you start craving more alcohol, and it becomes very difficult for you. Well, that's why the GLPs are being pushed so hard, because it shuts a lot of that off. But a lot of that would go away if you actually fix your circadian rhythm and actually worked on getting your sleep in order, and then actually started eating more protein and less processed food. But once again, that's a tool. We'll talk about that some other time. But that I think the sleep is the foundation of everything. And as you age, you get less sleep. So you're going to want to make sure the sleep you get is high quality. You're going to make sure you have a dark room, a cold room. Make sure you get out throughout the day, morning, midday, afternoon. Huberman's done a really good job of bringing the sleep stuff mainstream. And because he doesn't make outrageous statements, more people take him seriously. There's some other people in this space who've done a wonderful job relaying this, even when people were laughing at them. But a lot of people, when you say really outrageous things that might be true, might not be true, a lot of people kind of write it off. But Huberman, even though he's part of the, I guess you'd call it the complex, he's still putting on some good information that is going to help a lot of people. If 50-60% of the people in the US actually went outside in the mornings and got more sunlight throughout the day, you would see a drastic improvement in health in a very short period of time. So my kudos to him for pushing it out there into the mainstream. The second thing is the term that I've used for years is, if you want to live a long time, you've got to flirt performance, not marry it, which means it's like an 80-20 thing. It's 80% is low to moderate intensity, 20% is challenging. You don't want to be pushing your body super hard all the time, because that's going to lead to higher inflammatory markers. As you age, you don't adapt as quickly. So the cool thing is, if you spend most of your time doing foundational things, particularly if you're a beginner, you're going to get incredible results. And then you only have to add some intensity in from time to time. Now, intensity is different for everyone. For me, lifting weights, I can rep out the 110-pound dumbbells, and that's not even a workout for me, because I've been doing it for so long. I'll slow the tempo down a little bit. I don't do as much lifting as I used to, because I really want to focus on moving well. And when I lift really heavy things, I don't move as well. So I really lift once or twice a week, full body, and then I'm starting to work and move more. Now, lifting doesn't really, for my intensity, the average person, if they tried to lift the things I lift, would get wrecked, just because I've been doing it since I was 13, right? Now, on the opposite extreme, when I do conditioning, the average person, an easy conditioning workout is going to be a lot harder for me, because I carry a lot of muscle mass. I haven't, I used to wrestle. I used to do jujitsu a lot. I haven't been doing that lately. So my gas isn't as good. So I have to be careful I don't overdo it on that. So I'm hopefully getting an Aerodyne bike here soon. So I love Aerodyne. There's one in Granada. There's some sleds. I really need to go once a week and just go in there and push sled and do Aerodyne and ski erg and circuits and things like that. That'd be really helpful for me, because obviously running at 255, probably not good for my back and knees. The amount of work it would take me to prepare to run well, it would just be a waste of valuable time, really, honestly. But I run in the pool. I run some short sprints a couple times a week, maybe 10 or 15 10-yard sprints. And I do some agility work a couple times a week, so that works for me. So that's super duper important. build the foundation. Even the athletes, even high level athletes, like people think these high level athletes like train like a maniac all the time. They don't. They do low level stuff, like the amount of warm up stuff that they do in football, the amount of low level drills that they do working on technique. They don't go full out all the time, especially during the season. So most of their work is skill work. Gymnastics, same thing. I've talked about this a ton with Coach Summer. Like walking on your hands, bear crawls, rope climbs. I actually was working with a girl the other day who's an amazing athlete. She's good at everything. She can do a back handspring the first time she does it, but guess what? She doesn't do the preparation work, and then she ends up hurting herself because she jumps right into the advanced stuff. So there's a lot of value in doing the fundamentals, like Michael Jordan talked about, doing tons and tons of fundamentals. Like Dennis Rodman used to go watch the ball come off the basket, and people were warming up in the shooting, and he would watch the ball spin. He could tell where the ball was going by the way different people shot and how many spins were on the ball. So it's not all about working harder many times. Now you need to be able to challenge yourself. You need to make, appropriate, I would say 3 to 4 workouts a month. Once you have a good fitness level, you can challenge yourself a little bit. The big notion is that you have to make these massive improvements. If you even make a 0.5% improvement daily or a 1% improvement weekly, that's, if you make a 1% improvement weekly over a month period, that's a 4% improvement over the month. Some people will say a 1% daily. If you improve your lifestyle, like if you improve your compliance by 1% every day, your sleep, your food, if you just get a little better every single day in the course of 2 months, 3 months, a year, particularly if you're a beginner, you're going to do so incredibly well. But a lot of people think they have to go all or nothing. That's why I really like to start people off slow and layer things, and really take my time and really build habits. Because in the end, it's the habits. Like the difference between you having a gentle exit and a graceful exit and you not having a graceful exit. Granted, if you get hit by a bus or if you got some sort of crazy thing that happens, somebody hits you over the head with a baseball bat or something. I don't know where that came from, but granted, some sort of disaster, your choices that you make every day are either helping you get better and restore, or they're causing issues. The other thing I would look at is blood markers, C-reactive protein, inflammation, triglycerides, all those things, A1C. I would monitor those and make sure that you're keeping those in order through diet, getting outside, meditation, those sort of things. Your HRV is super important. Your respiratory rate's very important. HRV basically is a good indicator of how long you're going to live because it shows how much capacity you have to recover, and it shows the balance of your nervous system. And the last one is the most important one, I think, is you got to learn how to shut it off. Our modern world, we're spinning our heads all the time. We're basically chronic stress on the phone. I talked about how much stress I'm under, just emotional, not physical, like physical manual labor stress, but my body does better when I'm doing manual labor as opposed to sitting in front of a screen. And I love what I do. I love being a virtual coach. It's great. It allows me to live here in Nicaragua. It allows me to travel all over the world, which is wonderful. It allows me to help more people. But it also makes me sit here and be totally focused and talk, a couple sessions a day, group coaching, all those things, they wear you out. That's why, traditionally barbers that I've worked with, teachers, they tend to be just exhausted because they're talking all day, they're mouth breathing all day, they're highly alert. So that's why I like things like non-sleep deep rest, going for walks outside, breathing through the nose, calming yourself down. That is super important. I think it's just important to teach someone how to relax after they work out, just to kickstart the recovery process, as it is to get them to push harder. So that's what it comes down to. And then looking at who you are. If you're a gorilla, you don't need to get much stronger, right? Me getting stronger is probably not going to help me live longer. Now, me getting fitter, like me being able to do, med ball throws, some sort of skipping, maybe rebounder, things like that. Jogging in the pool, doing enough lifting to maintain my muscle mass. That's going to help me live longer. And, the truth is that big, super physiological, muscular people, large people, don't live as long. Like 7-foot people, Andre the Giant, all these big, big people. I'm not Andre the Giant, but, I am 5'9" and I do weigh 255. So that is, and my whole family's built like me. So I carry muscle very easily. I've obviously taken it to another level. So that's something as I turn 50, I've got to reckon myself with. It's like I go to the weight room, I get excited. I love lifting heavy things because it's what I'm good at. Right. And it's like, it's great, but it's probably not going to help me live to 70 or 80. Right. If that's what I want to do. And I'm 50 now. So I turned 50 in April. So I've got to start making some different choices, walking more, doing more conditioning, getting down on the floor and moving around. The floor stuff is really important. Making sure my inflammatory markers are in a good place. Really upping my sleep game. I mean, these are all things that are going to help get you in a better place and help you live longer and look better. Obviously, doing resistance training is going to help you keep muscle mass. It's going to make you look better. Getting the right amount of sun is going to make your skin look better. I think from what I've observed from people, I think the artificial lights really cause a lot of problems with the skin. Now, the sun causes issues as well, but there's also red light in the sun that also counters the skin damage from the sun. I spend a lot of time in the sun, and my skin, I think, looks pretty good for a guy that's turning 50. Now, you can see I'm a little red because I was on the motorcycle a lot today. So we'll be doing a lot of morning and evening sun tomorrow. But those are just a few thoughts. I'm happy to take any questions. I see we have a bunch of people watching on Instagram. We've got a bunch of people watching on X. I guess that'd be Twitter, and some people watching on YouTube. So I really appreciate you joining me today. I'm excited. I've got a men's coaching program that I'm doing right now, group coaching. You can contact me if you're interested in that. I'm going to be releasing a women's group here by popular demand here in the next week, which I'm excited about. That'll just be a community and then eventually a coaching program with that. So I hope you guys are doing well. I hope you have a great weekend. I hope you make sure you take the time to get outside. I usually do these calls Monday morning, but I have to go to Managua tomorrow to take care of some things, to do some shopping, and to get some maintenance done on my new motorcycle. So I decided to do this afternoon. So thanks for tuning in. Please please subscribe. It really helps me out. And I hope you guys have a great night. And I hope you guys take the time to get outside. You deserve it.